stream has. Probably not.
Bot Rix has correctly joined the channel.
Channel doesn't support custom titles. Finally on good. So I'm making a profit. 15 silver. No, 25 silver profit.
I suppose you are here to be trained in the use of a new weapon? Make it fast. I'm very busy.
Beware. What is it? Watch your back.
Oh, that's a cool hat.
Hello. My, what an abundance of gore you have brought me, adventurer.
Hello.
Your efforts have been most excellent.
How do I do? No. Where's the woman you go? I need 9 more kills. It said 7 earlier. The fuck is that bullshit? Rank prediction will appear once you meet the 15 honorable kill requirement. Oh. That's fucking weird. Like 30. Damn, I kind of kicked myself in the ass for not choosing that orc. Whatever. we gotta hurry. We gotta hurry. Damn, both blimps are here? Clutch.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to train optimally and trying to maximize muscle growth, even if it means spending more time setting up the optimal exercises, training one side at a time, or spending even more time in the gym, chasing high volumes and training to failure. However, that can be time consuming. You run into heavily diminishing returns on the time you spend in the gym. This can also make you run into paralysis by analysis. As you've heard me say in many videos, most people are actually limited by time to train. And that's where the concept of the minimum effective dose comes in. Dr. Pack, first question. What is the concept of the minimum effective training dose?
The concept of the minimum effective dose is essentially the concept of doing the least amount of work required in order to get a desired output. It's a concept that applies to many different fields, like, for example, pharmacology, but obviously applies to our field as well, so for strength and hypertrophy.
Only around 24% of the adult population meets physical activity guidelines. There are many reasons for this, but one commonly cited reason for why people don't get enough exercise in is time. So, if we can get you to exercise and spend less time in the gym, that's a good thing. What do you think the minimum dose is for hypertrophy and strength, and what variables do you pay attention to?
So for hypertrophy specifically, based on the latest meta-analysis by Pell and al., around 4 fractional sets per muscle group per week seems to be enough to elicit detectable muscle growth. For strength, it's roughly around 1 set per exercise or per muscle group per week. And for hypertrophy, I'd pay attention to a close proximity to failure for each set being at roughly 0 to 2 reps in reserve, ideally closer to 0, as recent data from our lab suggests that within low volume training programs, going to failure may be slightly better than staying a couple of reps in reserve. And for strength, I'd pay close attention to lifting heavy weights, ideally above 80% of one's 1 RM, while staying a few reps away from failure, roughly in the 1 to 4 reps in reserve ballpark.
Okay, when have you used the minimum effective dose in your own training?
I've used it during periods where stress was high or time was limited. Similarly with clients and athletes,
You haven't lived until you've looked down on the
optimal or
world from the
higher
back of a
volume
wind
training
rider.
was not possible. The minimum effective dose was a perfect approach to continue progressing and not just maintain or regress.
In this video, I'll convince you that you, dear viewer, probably don't need to chase optimal. Instead, you should learn how to make gains forever using the minimum effective dose. Let's say you have a family, you have a job, and you also have a side hustle. Crazier yet, you have friends. You have limited time in your life. Why spend it all fighting to get those last few percentage gains? As it turns out, the minimum effective training dose is way lower than people usually think. Let's start with muscle hypertrophy. Most people are aware of the relationship between volume and hypertrophy, and that more volume is better for muscle growth. In fact, that's what a meta-analysis by Pell and colleagues showed. All else being equal, getting more sets in across the week for a muscle will tend to grow more muscle in that area. Look, you could spend countless hours in the gym trying to optimize and get every last % of gains, but at some point, the return on investment on more time spent in the gym actually gets pretty poor. Around 40 fractional weekly sets seems to promote maximum muscle hypertrophy. Doing some quick math though, this would quickly get you to spending 2.5 hours in the gym per week per muscle, meaning 1 to 2 hour workouts nearly every day. That's where a study we recently conducted at Lehman College by Herman and colleagues comes in. They performed 1 set per exercise across 2 weekly workouts. They did 9 exercises in total in each workout, 3 exercises for each muscle group measured: triceps, biceps, and quads. In total, they were likely getting around 4 to 6 weekly sets. And these were trained lifters, around 4.5 years of lifting experience on average. Using only 1 set per exercise, we observed solid muscle growth in the biceps, triceps, and the quads, whether you were taking sets to 2 reps in reserve or failure. On average, we saw 2 to 10% of an increase in muscle thickness over 8 weeks. Taking the set all the way to failure, as opposed to keeping 2 reps in the tank, did seem to help you grow more muscle. Now think back on that meta-analysis by Pelin and colleagues I mentioned earlier. While 40 fractional weekly sets did seem to maximize muscle hypertrophy, only around 4 fractional weekly sets seem to be enough to see some muscle growth. And this aligns perfectly with the study we conducted at Lehman College. After all, in this study, when you count weekly volume, most muscles are being trained with 4 to 6 fractional weekly sets. While muscle growth does slow down in trained lifters, there's a chance you don't even need more volume when you're more trained. To hit the minimum effective dose for hypertrophy, just 2 workouts per week, around 30 to 45 minutes each, can get you there. That'll get you around 4 to 6 sets per muscle per week, no problem. In your first weekly workout for hypertrophy, you could do some squatting, some dumbbell pressing, some dumbbell rows, and some hamstring curls for a total full body stimulus. For the second hypertrophy workout for the week, you could simply do some incline chest pressing, some pull downs, some Romanian deadlifts, and some leg pressing, and you would cover many of the major muscles. Add in some isolation exercises to your liking if you want to bring up certain muscles even more, but that will cover nearly everything. MyAdapt auto-selects the right type of movement based on whether you have an injury or not, based on the muscle group you're trying to hit, based on the rep range, and much more. No workout is ever quite the same with MyAdapt. It constantly changes things up while making sure you're still progressing the weight on each exercise individually, getting plenty of volume in, and just progressing consistently. By the time you're seeing this, we'll likely be in closed beta with a couple hundred of users already using MyAdapt. But if you're not one of the lucky few, go to myadapt.com,
How's my int so high, or my mana so
free
high?
trial when it finally publicly launches. But what about strength? Well, the meta-analysis I mentioned earlier about Pelin and colleagues also look at strength. For strength, things are even easier. Just 1 set a week is enough to see some gains. And when it comes to maximizing strength gains, things also looked really promising. Only around 5 fractional weekly sets were required to maximize your strength progress. What did your study in paralysis do with the singles and the backup sets? Can you describe the design?
For sure. So we had a bunch of powerlifters perform different minimum effective dose programs. One group performed a single, just a single RP 9 to 9.5, meaning a single that was like very close to 1 a random test. And they performed that 2 times a week for the squat, 3 times a week for the bench, once a week for the deadlift, with the other group doing the exact same thing, but adding 2 triples after each single, performed at 80% of whatever they hit for this single. So if the single was at 100 kilos, then they took 80% of that, 80 kilos, and did 2 triples. And essentially, both groups made strength gains. However, the group that did the triples had a 99% probability of exceeding strength increases that were deemed as meaningful by powerlifting coaches and athletes that we surveyed. So yes, you can make gains with as little as 1 single per week, which was what the other group did for their deadlifts, for example. But adding a couple of triples, that is not very time consuming, can allow you to make substantially more gains and potentially more meaningful gains.
So for the back down or back off group, how many sets a week was that for the squat, bench, and deadlift?
So for the squat, it was an extra 4 sets. For the bench, it was an extra 6 sets.
Yep.
And for the deadlift, it was an extra 2 sets.
So it was 6 sets for the squat, 9 for the bench, and 3 for the deadlift.
Yeah, exactly. However, the deadlift responded really well to the overall volume. It's not like the bench or the squat responded better.
And so, my opinion, bro fell off. He needs to touch grass. He was being glazed by all these other social media influencers, having them on their channel, to all of a sudden criticizing everyone, while saying that time under tension has been debunked, while at the same time, you should use time under tension. And so if you're looking for maximum hypertrophy, reps in the range of 5 to 50 appear to be optimal. Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm calling out Wolf Coaching. Wolf Coaching is run by a science guy. He has a PhD. His name is Milo Wolf. And so, great name. And so he has a PhD, just like Mike Isertel. And so he knows way more than Coach Greg. And so in today's video, he's gonna call out 4 other YouTubers and explain how they all got it wrong. And so in the video, I see in the thumbnail, we have Jeff Cavalier, Ryan Humiston, Jeff Nippard, and Jeremy Ethier. And so, is he perhaps just clickbaiting? And I've already watched the video, and bro advertises his app more than I advertise my freaking cookbook. More than my cookbook, my Geo2 Max, and my Turk Builder that are all on sale on my website, Code Greg, 15% off. And so, has he perhaps been watching Coach Greg videos? He's calling people out who didn't get things wrong, and he's gonna try to prove that they got things wrong by sciencing it. But remember, just because I don't have a PhD doesn't mean I don't have a PhD in seeing through the bull hook. And so by the end of the video, you're gonna agree with me. It's very easy and obvious. I've spoken to a number of people all watching the same video as me, and we all came to agreement. And so I'm not gonna say names, but here's a screenshot. Yeah, what a joke. Definitely responding to this. Yo, these guys have holes everywhere in their research. Doing a reaction on this guy. One of the RP minions. Saying that TUT is outdated, but a set of 20 to 70 seconds duration is best for hypertrophy. But he continues to say if you're doing reps between 5 and 50, unless you're doing incredibly fast, you should be in that duration range. Isn't that time under tension? You've cooked. And so let's watch the video. These guys, they think that just because they have a PhD, they can get away with anything that they say. Thankfully, Coach Greg is here, unknowingly, to save the day.
These workout ideas are outdated. Focusing on them is, at best, making your program more complicated than it needs to be.
And so apparently, focusing on this, it's making your program more complicated than last time. That you shouldn't be following this. It's outdated, and that science proves it doesn't make any sense.
At worst, it's actually reducing how much muscle you're growing.
And so at worst, it may in fact be reducing your amount of gains. And so let's see, let's start with his first theory. What exactly has science gotten wrong?
First, the concept of time under tension. This is a bodybuilder classic. Instead of focusing on the number of reps, focusing on time under tension is supposed to boost your muscle growth. Jeff Cavalier continues to preach this.
And so he's calling out Jeff Cavalier, that time under tension, it's not valuable. That all you have to do is focus on the reps, and you don't need to time your sets.
If you disregard time under tension, you could arrive at the conclusion that a set of 1 rep is a great way to build muscle. However, that's about where the good sides of the focus on time under tension end.
And so he states, well, look, if you do just 1 rep, it's a little bit too short, but you don't have to focus on the movement itself. Just count the reps. Time under tension is just bro talk for don't fling the weights around. From the Jeff clip, it seems that he isn't even talking about time under tension. He just says that you want tension in the working muscle. And so has Wolf Coaching already sold out? I mean, he's supposed to be a scientist. All he cares about is science. But with the amount of advertisements for his app, is he really just focused about science or about clickbaiting the video to make it look like Jeff Cavalier doesn't know what he's talking about? Yeah, that wasn't a fair criticism. The Jeff glazing is crazy. Yeah, that was a weird clip to choose. And so already being called out in the comment section. Next comment, you're better than your thumbnails. And so he's literally putting outdated 4 workout ideas just debunked. And so in the thumbnail, he's clearly depicting Jeff Cavalier, Ryan Humiston, Jeff Nippard, and Jeremy Ethier on purpose because those are very famous social media influencers. And so he's trying to paint them in a bad light to make you want to click on the thumbnail. And so has Wolf Coaching sold out? These debunked workout ideas will soon be re-debunked and then bunked and then debunked again because science. Even with all the hate Jeff Cavalier gets these days, back in 2019, he was the biggest science-based lifting channel and was the first that made working out start to make sense for myself and many others. Always gonna have some degree of respect for him because of that, even if a lot of his information isn't entirely accurate. Very informative video, no doubt. Here's some food for thought. Number 1, clickbait. Using 4 of the most popular fitness influencers in your thumbnail just to gain more viewership. Number 2, double standard. You pointed out Ryan Humiston for using EMG devices. Why not point out Jeremy Ethier as well? It's getting weird already. Using colleagues that help you to get views and followers through their collaborations to get even more views debunking them. I couldn't believe when I saw the video of Dr. Mike, and now Jeff too. Seems not very ethical to me, but hey, you do you. I would change your strategy if you want to keep doing collabs with other specialists with substantially more follower base than you. You didn't debunk time under tension in a single repetition. The tension varies greatly. This is clout chasing. He's basically saying X concept has been debunked, but it works. The cook. When I swapped to an emphasis on tut, my gains improved markedly. I made sure every set went for at least 50 seconds and I saw much better results than before, without any change in the terms of approaching failure. Part of this may be attributed to spending more time in the stretch position, but regardless, tut has been a godsend. And so I can't remember the last time that I saw a science best trainer being criticized this much in the comments section. And so my opinion, bro fell off. He needs to touch grass. He was being glazed by all these other social media influencers, having them on their channel, to all of a sudden criticizing everyone, while saying that time under tension has been debunked, while at the same time, you should use time under tension.
The conclusion they arrived at is that sets of anywhere around 5 to 50 reps are equally effective for building muscle.
And so if you're looking for maximum hypertrophy, reps in the range of 5 to 50 appear to be optimal. And so does time under tension not state that you should lift an exercise for a certain amount of time? And so if you did a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, would that not be a low time of tension? While doing sets higher, 5 plus, would that not take longer? And so if you say that time under tension is not important, are you not disproving that by saying that reps should be in the range of 5 to 50? Last I checked, a set of 50 reps takes a heck of a long time.
Hitting failure appears to be the more important part, versus purely maximizing time under tension.
And so yeah, we get it. Going close to failure, it's very important. But if you go to failure on a set of 1, 2, 3, or 4, is that not a low time under tension in comparison that if you go to failure on a set of 5 plus? And so how can you sit there and say time under tension it's not important when you just stated it is?
The most recent review paper on repetition tempo found that although a slightly more controlled eccentric or lowering phase and a slightly more explosive concentric or lifting phase may optimize hypertrophy based on some preliminary evidence, most evidence suggests that a wide variety of repetition tempos appear equally effective for building muscle.
And so what about rep tempo? He's saying in some studies that they say that it's important to go slower on the eccentric and faster on the concentric. And what does that exactly mean? It means that you need to control the weight. You can't just swing the weight, cheat curls, cheat reps, and not focus on the tut, the time under tension. If you're, for example, doing bicep curls and you swing the weight up and you just lower the weight down, you're not using effective tut. When you're doing time under tension training, you're concentrating, flexing, and squeezing the weight and slowly lowering the weight down. There's constant tension on the muscle. And so if you do a set of 10 reps and you're lowering the weight slowly, the time under tension is gonna be greater than if you just swing the weight up and lower it down as quickly as possible. And so does it not make sense that tut is actually important? Take two people, go to the gym, one does sets of 5, swinging the weights, the other does sets of 10 with greater control. Who do you think is going to build more muscle?
In fact, they recommend a set duration, or time under tension per set, of 20 to 70 seconds for hypertrophy.
And next up, where he actually disproves what he's himself saying, for hypertrophy training, to build muscle, the optimal tut, time under tension, for a set should be between 20 and 70 seconds. And so he's saying time under tension has been debunked. But yet he's saying time under tension should be 20 to 70 seconds. If it's debunked, why is there a time limit? Think about it. And so I don't know about you, but how many of you out there time your sets? How many of you have timed your sets on various exercises? For example, a squat, bicep curl, bench press, a deadlift. Count how many seconds it takes you for to do a lift. If you do a set of 5, do you really think it's going to take you 20 seconds? When I do a set of 5 on the bench press, it might take me 10 seconds. It's not taking me 20 to 70 seconds. But if you're doing time under tension training, you're going to slowly lower the weight and perhaps pause at the bottom and explode on the way up. And between 20 and 70 seconds, that is a lot. I dare you to time your sets. Now, I'll give you an example. I did 405 for 50 reps in 50 seconds for a Guinness World Record deadlift. 50 reps in 50 seconds. And when I used to do my leg presses back in the day, I used to time it at a minimum time under tension of 40 seconds. My goal was to fail between 40 and 60 seconds. I would do sets of 15, and I would take my time slowly lifting the weight and forcing the weight up more quickly. Now, in comparison, if I just banged the weight up, did a set of 12, it would take me under 20 seconds. And so I could perform a set of 12 repetitions in under 20 seconds, which is below the 20 to 70. But in comparison, if I focus on TUT, it's going to be closer to 40, 60 seconds. And so does that not prove that TUT is actually important?
I guarantee that if you're doing anywhere between 5 to 50 reps, unless you're going incredibly fast, you'll fall within this range.
And so clearly your guarantee isn't as good as my Turk Pillar and GO2 Max guarantee, because in this guarantee, we actually go through with it. But in your guarantee, I dare you, go and time it. If you do between 5 and 50 reps, he says guaranteed is between 20 and 70 seconds. Go and do a set of 5 in the bench press right now and time it. And see if everyone is taking over 20 seconds to bench press their weight for 5 reps. Time it, I dare you. And he says, unless it's incredibly fast. No, it doesn't have to be incredibly fast to last 20 seconds. Last I checked, many people can't even last 20 seconds in bed. And they're not going all that fast. Think of it. How many of you think it takes 4 seconds to do each and every rep that you're doing? Hardly anyone trains that slowly. And those of you who are, you're doing TUT training. You have TUT in your mind, time under tension. You're thinking, I know how to build more muscle. For example, rather than ego lifting in the gym, for example, the Trend Twins trying to bench press 585 pounds, you use a lighter weight and you use control. You bench press 405 pounds and use TUT. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many people bench press that slowly? Almost nobody. Most people are going to go 1, 2, 3. And so each rep is taking perhaps 1 or 2 seconds. That's how most people train. And so despite the fact that this guy's a bodybuilder, a PhD, competitor, he doesn't even know about TUT training.
There is no need to focus on time under tension and slow things down a ton.
And so he says there's no need, no benefit to time under tension training. That you don't need to slow it down a ton. Yes, you do. Has this guy been coaching people for decades? I have. I've been coaching people for over 30 years. And so I've asked people to send me videos. I was coaching people, send me a video. I want to watch your set so I can correct your form. They'd send me videos of them doing squats, bench presses, leg presses, and so on. All the time I'd respond back with, you're going too fast. You're ego lifting. Lighten the weight, slow down the repetitions. Most people are dropping the eccentric way too fast. Each rep on average taking only 1 to 2 seconds. And so I've had people send me videos of them doing leg press, doing sets of 10 to 12, doing it in under 20 seconds.
Just use a reasonable rep range, usually 5 to 12, with some higher rep work in your program for completeness.
And notice how he says do most of your sets between 5 to 12, what some rep range in higher levels for completion. Is that not a mix? And so if time under tension wasn't important, why does he suggest that you do some sets higher than 12? If it wasn't important, he would say do all of your sets between 1 and 12. You don't need to worry about TUT. Do all your sets of 5. If TUT isn't important, why is it important to do some higher reps?
As far as repetition tempo goes, take at least a couple seconds on the way down and be explosive during the concentric.
And no, you don't need to do slower reps, but make sure that you take at least 2 seconds to go on the way down. Didn't you just contradict yourself? Don't do your reps any slower, but take at least 2 seconds on the way down. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. How many people are bench pressing with that slow of a descent? I see 1, 2. Most people are not slowing their reps down. And so when I'm at the gym watching people lift in the real world, not in some science lab, I'm watching people rep out faster than last time. People are not consciously slowing down the rep. They're not training with time under tension. And so I tell them, you should stop ego lifting in the gym. You should use lighter weights and slow the weight down to prevent injuries and build more muscle than last time safely. But Milo Wolf, no. I'm just going to throw Jeff Cavalier, Jeff Nippert, and others under the bus, guys who have promoted me in their own videos, and tell you that time under tension, it doesn't work, while at the same time telling you that time under tension works. And I'm going to be sure to plug in my training app to make more freaking money than last time.
Congratulations. You should never need to worry about time under tension ever again.
And so you'll never have to worry about time under tension again if you train using the principles of time under tension. It'd be like me saying all you have to do is an hour of cardio a day and you won't have to worry about how many steps you're getting. Yeah, kinda obvious. If you're riding your bike for an hour a day, I don't need to worry about counting steps. But what if you're not riding the bike? And so there you have it. Have I explained myself? Can you see how Wolf Coaching is clickbaiting his videos to shit on other YouTubers that have perhaps helped him to get where he is, while all the while calling out the science, but at the same time explaining that that science it actually works. And so yeah, I only have my master's. I don't have my PhD. I must not understand statistics. As if I haven't gotten the highest mark in everything. And so just because I'm a manlet and I sound like the parrot from Aladdin doesn't mean I don't know how to fucking train harder than last time. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it, please watch one of those two bloops, and of course, the harder than last time supplements, the cookbooks, all that, you can get to my website and order that. Code Greg, 15% off. And remember, I have free diet and training programs close to 50 pages from 1,500 calories, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. It's free. Giving away nearly 100,000 of these copies. But oh, Coach Greg is just a snake oil salesman. Am I really? And so interested in the free training program, click the link in the description. Don't forget about the cookbooks, the training books, coaching plans by me and my team, also the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. And until next time, I am out.
This is not how you spot people. Oh, shit! Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength. I've been a longtime professor of exercise and sports science. I'm a competitive bodybuilder and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grappler, and my life has come to a low point, and so has Scott the Video Guys, and so has this channel's. Because this video is me reacting to gym fails. Yes, it was going to happen inevitably. At first, you're, the mainlining and headlining the Super Bowl, and then later you're doing a show on the back end of Vegas and the shit casinos up the strip because you're nothing and no one anymore, and people only have a notion of you as a memory, not a real person. That's what I'm becoming with these gym fail videos, but maybe we can all laugh along together one last time. No, the show's not canceled, but I can't believe we're doing this. Anyway, cheer up, Mike. Shut up. Press the space bar to see the next video. Let's do it. Good. I want to see this. Oh, JK, fellas. No spotter? That's all right. The Hulk's on the back wall. He's got your back, right? Right? Do not do that. That is not the way out. That's how you kill yourself. Is this... Scott, is this guy alive still? This isn't Faces of Death, is it?
I guess we'll have to watch the end of the video.
God. Okay, whatever happens here, I'm gonna tell you guys how to actually bail out of a bench press. If you staple yourself, what you wanna do is shimmy, shimmy, shimmy over to the side. Because you see, once one end of the barbell falls to the side, all you gotta do is kind of push the other end. You'll scrape yourself up, but you're gonna be alive. Do not bring the barbell up to your neck. That's the second worst place you could bring it up to. The worst place is your dick, because then you'll be dickless for forever, and I'd rather be dead. Does that mean I'm already mostly dead? This is some real fight or flight. This is terrible, as is good jiu-jitsu sense. He's turning to the side, away from the choke, so that's sort of a good idea. Damn, he's still trying to skull crush the shit. I feel that. You know his childhood is running through his head. Okay, he's out, more or less. Get the legs involved. Again, putting it back into the rack, there's hooks there. The hook is now your enemy. You could have just dumped it to the side, but what do I know? I just went to school for years for this. Folks, if you bench press weight that's close to your limits, get a spotter. If you don't have a spotter, just don't put collars on the bar so that when you shimmy, the weights fly off. It's weird, it makes a lot of noise, but at least you're not dead. And speaking of dead people, an old friend. We know this guy, don't we, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, we had to put it in the classic.
We had to put in the classic. Folks, this is Joe Sullivan.
Shout out, Joe.
Shout out to Joe. Max, please put Joe's Instagram in the description and maybe somewhere here on the video. Joe is the man. And Joe has broken more world records in powerlifting than I have fingers on my hands. It's really intense. He's broken the squat world record a bunch. It's wild. This is one of the greatest squatters of all time. He weighs something like 220 pounds and has squatted into the mid-800s numerous times in competition. with no assistance whatsoever. I mean, that is baffling. I thought I had strong legs, then I met Joe and I realized I had strong nothing and no one. Joe is illustrating something here that I guess we should all know about. Not all bars are created equal. Some bars are not rated for certain weight capacity, and when you're Joe Sullivan, you have to be squatting, I don't know, 700 or something like that, leisurely. Weird shit happens. Pay close attention. Notice he's moving up, but the weights aren't moving up because the bar is bending. Does that mean Joe Sullivan is strong enough to bend a fucking weightlifting bar with just his body? Yes. And the funny thing is Joe, I believe, used to wrestle in college, which would be so scary to go up against in a street fight. What are you gonna do to that guy? Throw away your notepad and your Excel sheets. The RP Hypertrophy app has all of your workouts displayed in one place with guided videos on exercise techniques and a program that evolves to better suit your needs the longer you use the app. All you have to do is follow the plan right on your phone and get the gains. Click on the link in the description of this video to get started. Problem, how the hell do you rack the weight when the barbell is now lower than the pins? And at this point, Joe, who's fucking brilliant, is like probably doing calculus in his head of like, what the fuck do I have to do to get out of the situation? And there's a certain, you guys might have felt it before, when you're in some real deep, you get like this certain clarity of fight or flight. Everything kind of slows down a little bit. You're like, all right, really think this through. Let's find out where Joe decided to think it through to. I think he's gonna try to rack it on one end. Successfully, very good. And now he's like, you know what? Fuck. I forgot about I love Oh, that's so classic. That's Joe. Fuck. Get the feet in front of you. Get the hand out. Jesus Christ. Look, most of us don't have to worry about this problem. If this is a problem to you, all sorts of solutions come up. Maybe you can fight crime. You can be a superhero like Joe. This is just like, it's one of those videos, Scott, this has like been viewed like 1 trillion times, right? Like it just keeps coming back into the internet because you're just not,
Posted up again, baby.
hey, most people just aren't ready to see it. There's just no context for which that makes any sense. If you were on the other end of that gym, surely you would run over and help. But if you were the kind of person that wouldn't, you would be like, what the is going on? That guy's bending a bar. Is he trying to do that? Is he just actually crunching down with his shoulders? Who the hell knows what's going on? Let's make sense of this better by looking at more ridiculous videos of people doing interesting things in a gymnasium. This is for like training to slam a door, like, get out of my room, Dad. I mean, yeah, like, you know, it's sport specific to throwing something down on the ground. Not something you would typically do with a cable set, but fair play. And yeah, look, he's got his intra-workout nutrition right next to him. So that's really telling us he knows what's going on. I'm just gonna start out right here. You guys are seeing this as I'm seeing this. By the way, I don't get prep for any of this, so I'm seeing it live for the first time. This is not how you spot people. What happens if the guy with the bar doesn't make it is almost everyone either dumps forward or runs out and dumps back. If he dumps forward, this guy's in his way to get out of the way. He's gonna get clipped by the bar, and that's really bad news. If he dumps back, guess who catches 700 pounds on their fucking elbows? The guy in the pink shirt. I understand you're wearing a pink shirt and the guy you're spotting has really colorful shorts on and you're trying to get inside his asshole, I guess. It's dope, 2024, all love and respect, but like, folks, learn how to spot people. And by the way, when there's roughly over 500 pounds on a bar, probably a triple spot is best. You get one guy to side spot on that side, another guy to side spot on the other side, and one guy that stays in the vicinity but does not have his inserted into the guy's asshole. That's too close. I know it sounds crazy. Let's see where this goes. Oh, shit. Well, I guess the spotter's safe and clutching for dear life. Yo, you thought you was straight, right? And then the homies pulled this picture out on you. Like, well, explain this. You're like, I swear to God, the guy broke a bar. Like, bullshit. You're just hugging some guy at the gym. You're like, it's true. I was also gay about it. I had no idea. I don't even know how that works. That bar has lived a few lives before. It's like my sister and her husband have this cat who, like, had been dying and had kidney disease. The cat's like, Scott, how old is Callisto? Like 20? And the cat doesn't look well. Its saliva glands don't work anymore. It can't hear anymore. It can't even take care of itself, so you have to brush the cat. And then the cat like did this thing recently. So my sister's just waiting for the cat to die so they can get a dog. It's kind of a joke, sort of. She's not gonna kill the thing, but she's like, all right, well, so time's up, big homie. And then they took it, Scott, they took it to the vet recently. And Sonia's like, yeah, looks like the kidneys work just fine. And the cat's just not dying. They're like, that bar was that cat for about 20 years, and then finally it's just like, nope. Unreal. Well, I guess no one's hurt, I think, but people got to hug each other. So it's really a victory for humanity, I say. All right, we got a deadlift here. Not stellar technique. The kind of backgrounding that seems like you didn't plan that and it's not part of your technique. You're just not strong enough to do it the right way. Okay, so if you do this move with the foot to someone, they have every right, I'm kidding, but they have every right to arm drag single you into a fucking pole, probably the pole right behind there, because that is insanely disrespectful and magnifies the lack of safety that has already been occurring. This is wild. Anything, if a person is not putting others or even themselves, I would say, as a pass, definitely other people in the line of literal danger, you can wait until they're done with their set to say whatever the hell you want to say to them. But if you're in no disrespect to Universal Nutrition, you guys are fucking awesome and your products raised a generation of hardcore people, they're the wrong kind of guy in an animal pack shirt and you look like a bro douchebag idiot, then you're gonna do a lot of dumb shit. And let's see what happens.
Did you understand what I just said?
Oh God, oh God, oh God, I pray to God every day someone raises their voice and comes at me again with a head movement. Holy shit. Highlight real time. I don't know if this is a person that just hasn't been enough fist fights to learn how to be respectful, or hasn't just been beaten enough with someone else's bare hands to be respectful, or they have and they just never learned their lesson. You do not come at other dudes that way unless you are starting an altercation. And in my view, it's just start the altercation. You don't have to raise your voice, just come in and get your fucking game going. Fuck all that nonsense. My God, I couldn't hate this more if I tried. No, the guy's standing his ground, Scott. That's pretty sweet. He's like, by the way, I'm taller than you, and you're not that big. This is the ultimate example of just because you wear a cutoff shirt, it doesn't mean you're jacked. You're just a guy with a lot of feelings. By the way, there's two ways this can go. One is it's not gym policy for you to be making lots of noise, and it's on the written rules, which maybe that guy's pointing to. In that case, calmly, after the person finishes their set, you say, hey, sir, unfortunately, I'm a representative of the gym staff. Scott, is this guy a representative of the gym staff or no? Oh, well then, holy shit, is he getting fired and sued? But as a representative of the gym staff, you say, excuse me, sir, unfortunately we have a policy where you're not allowed to clank your weights. And if this has happened for the second time or the third time and the person's just not doing anything about it, you come up to them again and you go, sir, unfortunately it's just not policy for us to let you clank your weights. Could you please stop? If they continue, you have two options. One is to let them finish the workout, and then on their way out, you note who they are, and then summarily delete their membership, and write a note in that says this person was slamming weights, we have video footage of everything, no problem. They just don't have a membership anymore and they can't come back. The other thing you do is you call the police. That's what the police exists for, is when someone can't be talked into something that they're doing wrong, you're not going to verbally altercate them into doing it because it can get physical. Like it probably should have happened here, but unfortunately didn't. Yeah. That guy who was lifting never really backed down. He's going to feel good about this interaction later. The guy who interacted poorly, a lot of lessons to learn. But this next video will make me feel right as rain. Folks, we're going to blur this next video because things happen to the human anatomy here. Scott, can I be more explicit, or is that also bad?
Maybe they can find it in the member section if they want to see what happens.
In the member section, we have raw, unedited, uncut version of me swearing more and being upset. Go get that in the member section, sign up. It's super cheap, and you get tons of other videos, and all of our other videos that you've ever seen on this channel in the Exercise Scientist Critiques Friday slot, they're all on there, and they're all uncut, and it's super great. I can't tell you what happens in this, but I have seen this video before, and I just hope this person has a god to pray to. I love these security cam angles, because you got to watch the periphery. Like, you don't know where the shit's coming from, you know? Like, where is the fuckery going to happen? Okay. We interrupt your workout.
New fear unlocked.
100%. Also, like, sometimes you really take too much pre-workout and you're like, I gotta get to the gym now. Get as close to the gym as you can. I like that the workers were like, oh, did that guy have a day pass?
Excuse me, what the actual f*** are you doing in my house?
Okay, not so fun story. This guy's benching with what's called a word we can't say on YouTube that's code for someone taking their own life into their own hands, if you know what I mean. Starts with an S. Type of grip. It's a totally fine grip to use in a bunch of stuff like machines and things like that, but with a barbell, you want to loop your thumbs in so that that doesn't happen, because if you're pushing with that grip and you slip a little bit, the bar can fall onto your sternum and it can break stuff. Believe it or not, that's a heavy barbell. That's the fun part of the story, and all clowning and jokes. There was an American football player, college athlete, some time back, maybe about 10 years ago, that did himself like this, and he broke stuff, and he died sometime thereafter. So, yeah, all fun and jokes, but don't do dumb shit like this. It can come with a real price.
When we think about the band thing, I feel like that also counts.
Yeah, the band thingy. So that's like the, what's that shit called? The Mark Bell's Slingshot. Mark Bell's Slingshot. A fine device to help you really overload the top of a movement and be easy on the bottom. Great for training in the equipped bench press. And maybe that guy is training for the equipped bench press, but I sort of doubt it. Equipped guys generally don't bench with a S-word grip. So... Yeah. The slingshot probably just empowered this dude to lift way more than he should have been lifting. It's tough. I already know fuckery is going to ensue. Let's go through our squat fuckery checklist. You can just tell real quick what's gonna happen, and it's nothing good. Even if no one gets hurt or nothing falls, you know no productive work is gonna be had. One way you can tell is the insanely wide stance with simultaneous...
Order backfired. Oh my fucking god. Oh my, yeah, this is cooked now.
An aviation order following the plane crash? A better place than PvE servers?
So ever since the beginning of, it seems like forever, PvE and PvP servers have been going at it, and it's because, I don't know. PvP servers apparently are all the better players, and they like to talk shit to the PvE servers, and then the PvE servers clap back, and we're seeing it especially now in Alterac Valley on the Fresh Anniversary realm. So I just want to highlight a couple funny examples that I've been seeing, and I'm sure you've been seeing as well, at least on North America, between Nightslayer and Dream Scythe peeps. But what I've been seeing, there's like a weak aura, right? There's a weak aura or something. When someone leaves the battleground, it says AV outcome predictor, Dream Scythe lever detected, win rate increased by 5% for your team, and it's just so funny. But then there's like the same thing by the Dream Scythe people. AV outcome predictor. Oh, a Nightslayer lever detected. Win rate increased. And then they do this exclamation mark predict. And it's like, oh, there's this many Nightslayer versus Dream Scythe. We predict our chance of winning is this, suggesting that, you know, the Nightslayer players are saying, if we have 100% Nightslayer, or it's a 100% chance to win. And if we lose, it's the Dream Scythe people's fault. I love just reading the chat. It's funny. Like, oh, this it's a Dream Scythe player. Who pulled the marshals? Oh, it was a Dream Scythe player. And then of course people are making the English and Chinese translations. Dream Scythe player. Remain silent until spoken to. Do not share war strategies. Nightslayer must carry burden. And then of course they clap back. Nightslayer player, no accountability, blames Dream Scythe for their undoing. Big time scrubs. And I think the most true comment has to be this one. I've been in multiple games with multiple strats, and the only consistent thing is whiny bitches. Is there any truth, do you think, that Nightslayer players are just simply better? They're just better at Alterac Valley. They're so much better. I mean, Alterac Valley is a PvE battleground. There's bosses. So surely having the PvE players would help you out. I think both players, of course, are at fault at times. And hopefully it's just humorous banter. I find it funny. Hope no one takes anything too personally. But I personally don't get behind the idea that, oh, if you're on Dream Scythe, you're a bad player, bad at PvP. Maybe you have a multi-glad Dream Scythe player who is playing with their friend who's new to WoW, and their new to WoW friend would have a bad experience on a PvP server, and so they're saying, you know what, I'll play on a PvE server so I can play with you, my friend. Now, of course, I dragged my girlfriend into the PvP server, and she just, you know, she's getting killed left and right, and I haven't even told her that a PvE server exists. Shh, keep that secret. Oh yeah, sorry honey, this is just how the game is. Sometimes you get teabagged. Oh, what do you think? I think it's funny. I just want to make a video about that. I'm crying now. Let's get back to AV, guys. Gotta get that honor. Hope there's no Dream Scythe players in my game. If you enjoyed the video, drop me a sub and a comment. Catch me live on my Twitch channel, Dwarf Lord TV, to connect with me or say hi to me in game on any of my characters. Dwarf Lord out.
And they say that the Dwarf Lord could save us. I'm not gonna pave here and wait. I'll hold on to the beard of the Dwarf Lord. Watch as we...
It's too far away. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. I'm out of range.
Holy shit, warrior shaman, eh? Should I feed my pet real quick? Alright, let's just wait. Let's wait a sec. Okay, so at TVC on Hunter, I realized that, like, if you run in like an idiot in the beginning of the game, it's actually the worst thing you can do. He's gonna charge into my trap. One clip this guy. Oh, he's enhanced. I'll mana burn him. Purchase lust possibly. Scatter his charge. Try to get a stun proc on him, then get him. Press my CDs. One clip the warrior. I determine so he doesn't get the hamstring on me. One clip this guy. He parried him. One clip again. Got it. His grounding totem. Go grounding in a sec. Got it. He probably walks into this, right? He actually charged away. Wolverine the warrior in his charge. Staying steady here. So it's aim, or steady, multi, steady, arcane. Meta burn this guy in a sec. Pull my poison up too. Stun the warrior off my guy maybe. Didn't get the proc. Okay, I got an auto shot on him. I can scatter the warrior off that route. Probably winkle this guy again. Got it. Purchase water shield. He's not happy about that. Multi shot now. Just water shield again. Put a poison on him. Scatter a heal. Didn't get it. Gonna meta burn him again. Gonna auto shot him. Gonna slow him here. Purchase water shield again. You ran into my old trap too. This game's over, brother. Boom! Oh. I didn't turn an aspect on. Oops. I think I was tabbed out at the beginning of that game. Didn't turn one on. Dude, I can't imagine if I played in an attorney. I wonder how I do, honestly. A TBC tourney? I feel like it'd be fun as fuck, dude. I would love to play in that thing. Jesus. Or are you playing in it? I'm not going to be home. Oh, it's enhance. Oh, 5k mana. That's true. Alright, well. We're going to start, Does that just vanish? Did he just get hit by a tornado? We're slowly moving up. This guy's about to walk on top of me in a sec. There's pounce. They're going to go you, maybe? Yeah, yep, they're on you. Purchase water shield. Press the mana burn button. One clip the lock or the rogue from the back. Actually got the sun proc. I was scattered instantly for trinkets. Players vanish here.
The test of
Scatter rogue. I missed it. Nice.
Done.
I also missed my arcane shot, which is super unlucky.
And you are now
Come on, poison on him.
for the final
This guy to
test
turn its
before
high. Turn
these
on monkey so I
rites
don't
are
die randomly.
completed.
Try and mana burn him here. Just fire Nova Totem. Gonna kill it. I'm gonna turn off monkey now and turn on hawk. I'm gonna mark the route. I'm gonna get a re. I'm gonna arcane shot his lust off to make sure it's off. Nice step, brother. Blinded. I set this. Put a poison on the shaman. I'll trigger his sun instantly if he does it. He left the game. Nice. I'm sure he should get his sun. Unlucky, brother. Alright, feed my pet here. Mark the mage. The slow trap down. Keep feeding my pet. Give me a sec. Arcane shot button. Scatter. Over to mage. One clip the priest. Here comes a shatter. I'll try to get if he does. Great kick. Better burn to mage. He cloned it. Fuck. Say shot his pet. Say shot his pet again. He novid me. Arcane shot his PI off maybe. I missed it, man. Blind to mana burn here. Walked into my slow trap. He blinked into it actually. Dodge Nova maybe. Try mana burn this guy. Just block. Put a slow trap down on this guy. One clip the priest. Got feared. I'm triggering this. Can't shot the priest. If I can miss it again. Dude, am I like not hit capped or something? Or something bugged? I'm like missing a ton now. In dispatch. Get the study off. Gonna get the multi off too. Turn a Viper here. I can't try to try to dodge Nova. I don't have a slow trap, but this pillar which kinda sucks. One clip the priest in a sec. Turn on Cheetah. Turn it off now. One clip them. Turn on Viper. Try to get the mana burn off. I got it. I scattered mage if I can do it. I scattered on his blink actually. It should be okay now. He's gonna fear me off this. He's actually gonna. Pretty sure he's gonna fear me here. There's fear. Here comes mana burns. Mage is gonna try to shatter me at the same time. I'm setting my pen on the priest so he can't drink right now. Okay. This tornado's gonna hit me maybe. Holy fuck! Do you guys see that? That's so unlucky, dude. But Cheetah back. Turn on Viper. Stack my poison on the priest. He just blinked in. One clip this guy. He's running a Nova, but I resisted it. got knocked towards the priest, which is insane for us. Mana burn this guy, line his sheep here. Gonna slow trap down again. Multi-shot the mage. Gonna line his sheep. Arcane shot, dispel him again. I'm gonna mana burn the mage now. Mana burn the mage. I'm actually gonna line the priest here. Walk him into my trap. Right, dispel the priest once, try to get his spirit off, didn't get it though. I'm not gonna walk into the mage ever actually. It's just bad to do that. I'm gonna bandage my pet. Please don't die. Okay, it's good. Ooh.
Okay.
Scatter priest. Mana burn mage.
Where would you like to fly
Gonna get feared. Don't really care too much about this. He sheeped over it too. Trying to get to my druid right now.